All right, folks. So in today's video, we're going to take a look at this Yaesu FTM-500D. And when I got it shipped to me, it has a little bit of a crunch on this side of the box. Not too big of a deal, but it's a little disappointing because I want my box to be pristine in case I ever decide to sell it. But let's go ahead and take a look. Actually, let's take a quick look at the box. It says that it is a dual band, right? 140, 430, so that's 2 meters, 70 centimeters, C4 FM digital, and FM transceiver. Not a whole lot of information on this, but this is the actual size of the radio. And not much here. Let's see what's on this side. Not much there. On the back, it has dual receive display, single receive with scope, and the PMG display. Let's go ahead and see what we got. And I did take a peek. I would be lying if I didn't tell you that. When we take a look at the box, here's what's kind of interesting. It shows how everything is packed inside the box in the event that you want to put it back in here and send it back to the vendor, I guess. Here we go. We have the manual. We have no need for that. And then it comes with this pretty fancy cheat sheet quick start guide. Looks like this page covers some of the new functions. And here's how to use some of those functions. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. It looks like it comes with a microphone mount. We'll just put that over there. And it comes with a microphone. Let's see what we have here. It's been so long since I've gotten a new Yaesu mobile radio. I've got the 2900 and the 7900. And I guess I have the 817. You could call that a mobile radio too. But this looks different than the other Yaesu mics that I've got. You can take a look at it right here. It's got your up and down here and your PTT, and then it's got the nerd lid on the back that we use to connect that to the microphone holder. Comes with a bag of mounting hardware, which is awesome. Let's see what we have here. We have a power cord that we're going to carefully open. And there are no power poles on here, so we're going to have to do that. It looks like it's dual fused on both lines. And then it has, I don't know if that's called a Molex connector or not, but that's probably what's in the back. Comes with some spare fuses, which is awesome. And let's take a look here. This would be the radio. Let me get rid of this box very carefully. And see what we have here. So the radio does come with a mounting bracket, which is very nice. And then here would be our power cord that we connect up to that one we just took a look at. Let's take a quick look at the back of the radio. Here's your SO239 connector for your antenna port. Fan to keep everything nice and cool. This looks like it is an external speaker. It says 13.8 DC. It has a data jack, which looks to be a DIN type connector. And what's interesting is about these radios is that it's my understanding that they have a built-in TNC, but the TNC is not accessible from the outside. So in the event that you want to use this data jack, you can hook a TNC to the outside of it if you wanted to do some APRS or something along those lines. Outside of the APRS function, it's built into the radio. And then here is an external SPA, and I'm not 100% sure. I guess it's an external speaker. And this one's marked external B, so I guess you can have two external speakers on it, and that's probably because of the AESS sound system. Here is the front of the radio, and let's just take a second to get rid of this. Oh yeah, everybody likes when that comes off. I hate those on there. The worst is when you see somebody reviewing the radio and they have that sticky thing on there. But we have some buttons along the top, and you can see those there. This is your controller for the top VFO. This is the controller for the bottom VFO. I think this is a multifunction knob, and this is an adjustment for your frequency. Here are some of the other buttons across the front, and then you have a function and a sub dial. And I guess that's for the sub band. And then here's the front-facing speaker, which is awesome. And that's one of the main reasons I bought this, because I have a Jeep, and I want to put this in my Jeep to replace my 7900, which is the body of that is mounted underneath the passenger seat. And it makes it a little bit difficult to hear without an external speaker, but I'm hoping with this I won't need to use the external speaker and buy a little bit of space back. The other thing that I really like about this radio is that the microphone control is on the head of the unit, so I don't have to run a wire. That's the same as on my 7D-900. And let's see, looks like there is a clip here that I can push to remove the head of the unit. And then there is a cable, a control cable that connects here. And then there's a screw on the back that you can use for mounting. So what I plan to do is put something in here like a ram mount ball and then just mount that on my dash. And let's take a look at this frame mount. And I think that you can just pop this off, but I'm not 100% sure. I think here it is. And that's pretty handy. And you can mount this on the bottom or the top. So what I'll do is I'll just take this and screw it down to the wooden mount that I have underneath the passenger seat. And I'll put this in here. Very cool. Like that a lot. All right, before we go any further, what I want to do is I'm going to either cut this off and put power poles here, or I'm going to put power poles on the end of this cable. I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do that now, and I'm going to come back. Well, there's no turning back now. Not too bad, right? Okay, so before we start powering this baby up, what I wanted to talk about real quick is that I do have the power cord connected to another line that I have here. And it's a fused line, so everybody can calm down and relax. We're safe. And then I put a dummy load on. We may transmit. I don't want to have any erroneous transmissions, and I don't want to damage the radio. Also, we have connected the microphone up through the mic port on the side. All right, I'm going to switch to a different camera view so we can see the front of the radio together. Okay, so we're set up and we're ready to power this thing on. And I have this set up here. It's a little janky, but that's okay. What you want to do is you want to press and hold the power button, and you are welcome with this screen. And it asks you to enter your call sign. And so we can do that. Let's press the function key and then use the function key to adjust to what you want. There we go, and we have the screen. All right, we're going to poke around a little bit and see what we can find. The first thing is that you can adjust the volume of either band. And I believe you can set this up so you can receive on both bands at the same time. If you want to adjust your squelch, you just press and then you can adjust the squelch to whatever level you deem necessary. And it works the same for both. So this top button here controls the top VFO. The sub button does your sub VFO. Now, it's my understanding I can hit these and it'll switch. And that switches your top and your bottom VFO just by hitting that. Now, one of the things that we can do is we can press and hold. And that copies your main VFO to your sub VFO. And then one of the things that we can do is we can change using this to, I think it was set to 430. Oops. Let's go with 4. Oh, I don't want to do that. Let me clear out of here. There we go, 430. And that was the last one we were on. And let's go ahead and switch them back. So we can switch them back. You can also adjust here. Oops. I think we're gonna leave that like that. I think that you can press this button and then you can adjust the megahertz. And you can see when we get up higher in the 2-meter band, it puts on a plus for automatic shift. So if we key up, you can see that it does the plus 500 kilohertz there. And let's go ahead and let that take set. And then you can see it does our 5 megahertz shift. So that's pretty handy. Let's take a look and see how we switch bands. And I believe you do that down here with this band button. It also looks like it switches between memory and VFO. We don't have any memories programmed yet. But if I push that, you can see that it switches between different bands. Now, some of these bands like this one are receive only, and it's in AM mode. So if I key up, it says transmit prohibited. Let's keep going through the different bands. There's our 2 meter. There's 220, which is also, it does not transmit on that. And let's see what else we have. There is our 70 centimeter 440 band. And then there is a much higher frequency band. There we go. Let's just do a quick switch down to the bottom. Oh, they're the same. Silly me. Let's switch the band. There we go. We just switched that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to push the function button. And when I do that, this is your commonly used, this is pre-programmed and you can adjust this by the factory, but it is the 8 most common menu items. I think a long press will take me to all menu options. And you can see that there's a whole mess of these. I think we can go backwards here. And we can see that there are, oh, you can't go backwards. There are 127 menus. So not to be outdone by previous Yaesu radios. Here's a menu. All right, so I'm just playing around with the menu, and here is our here's our receive audio equalizer. So I can just hit the function button real quick, and then I can say my front tone right now is off. And I can hit this button again, and then we can adjust this front tone to flat. Rear out looks to be at 100%, but I can adjust my front tone to flat, high pitch, low pitch, BPF, not sure what that means. Let's change it to low pitch. I just hit that button to do that. And then my rear out, let's see what we can adjust this to. It adjusts in increments of 10. Let's go to 80%. Let's go to 50%. That doesn't look like it does much else there. I'm assuming by rear out at 50%, that makes 50% in the front, but I could be wrong. And then it looks like you can adjust your phase, your AESS phase. And that's really the balancing and the timing between the front firing speaker and the back firing speaker. You probably want to mess with these settings once you get this mounted in your vehicle, for example. Let's get out of the menu. We can go back. This is our commonly used menu items, and I accidentally set radio ID to that. If I push in, I can get the entire menu, and I think if I scroll all the way down to the bottom, which is 127, I can actually do a factory reset. Here's where you can configure your, looks like APRS. Here's the factory reset. And I'm not going to do that because I don't want to. But I can go up here and take a look and see what my software version is. So there you can see our main version is 1.02, sub is 1.02, and the DSP is at 7.2, which is pretty neat. All right, let's see what else we can mess with. Here we can set our mic programming keys. And if you take a look at the mic, there are a couple of different keys on here. You got P1, 2, 3, and 4. So let's go ahead and select this and see what we get. And the P1 is second PTT, which means that it will transmit on the lower band when you push that. P2 is your home channel if you have one of those set up. It looks like P3 is D_X, and I think that has something to do with power settings, but I'm not sure. And then P4 is set to WX. Let's go ahead and see what our options are here. We have, looks like STN list, message list, reply, message edit, DW. You have all this stuff you can, here we go, transmit power. Let's go ahead and set that. And we're back at our home screen. So now I'm going to press P4, low power, mid power, and high power. And I think that's 5, 25, and 50 watts. We'll do a power test a little bit later and see how that works out for us. All right, I set the radio to 14652, which is the national calling frequency on 2 meters, and there's a button here called DSP, and what's cool about this button is I can press that and then I get my band scope, but because we're connected to a dummy load, we're not seeing any signals around here. What I want to do is I'm going to key up on another radio, and I just did my station ID, so don't panic there. But when I key up, you can see on the band scope my signal, which is pretty cool. And then you just switch back and forth between these two. We can switch that, and we can take a look at the dual receive function. So you can see there that we are receiving on the subband, not the primary band. If we wanted to transmit on the subband, then we can just press this P1 that we saw in the setup for the menu buttons. Test, test, test. And you can see that as well. So that's pretty cool. Let's see what else we can find. Okay, so we're set at 14652. Let's see if we can figure out how to write this thing to a memory. So I think if I press and hold this, it will show us our memory list. And I'm just going to pick number 2. And then I'm going to pick write. And to switch to memory mode, I can push this button. So now we're in memory mode, and I can switch between memories. That would be my home memory, or memory channel 1, I believe. And that is 14652. Let's go back to VFO mode, and let's just pick a frequency. Let's just say, I don't know, 14650. And this is already set up with the return shift. You can see the negative, so that's a negative shift. If I key this up, it should go down 500 kilohertz. I'm sorry, 600 kilohertz, and it does. So let's long press this, and we'll write it to channel number 3. And let's go ahead and pick write. We've done that. Now I think I can go to memory mode. Hit, oh, it doesn't do it. Let's do a long press of that. And here you can see my repeater shift. Let's hit this button and pick edit and see what magic awaits. So when I do that, there is the receive frequency, and it doesn't have a text frequency because it has that. But I think we can tag here, and we can just put in a name. Let's just do my RPT. And then I'm going to long press because I don't know what to do. And it says my repeater. And here you can see that it is added to a scan list. I say we don't want to scan. And then I can go down and hit OK. And let's go back to our VFO. And then you can see the my repeater name there for channel 3. If I go down to channel 2, that says nothing because it's not there. So that's relatively easy, not overly complicated. All right, let's go back to our menu and see what we can find there. I believe it was a long press of the function knob. And I want to go to function 11, which is Vox. And so, in case you don't know, Vox is when you want to set up your radio to transmit when it hears sound, like your voice. And so let's just go ahead and press that and see what we get. Vox is currently off. Let's turn it on. And then you have a setting here, whoops, where you can adjust the sensitivity between low and high. Let's just put that on high for now. Hit the button and it's set. Now when I go down, you have a delay, and that means there's a delay before it starts transmitting. And that's good if you have a noisy vehicle or something like that. It says it's going to use the front mic, which is on the radio. Let's see if we can change that. Front, rear. We're going to just go ahead and we're going to use the front and see what happens. And let's go ahead and exit out of this. And now you can see up here, there is a highlight for Vox. So let's just talk into the mic. Hello, hello, hello. And I did not press the PTT, and it looks like it transmitted. And it's actually still, hey. I guess I got to hold it a little closer. Maybe I can adjust the sensitivity there. Hello, hello. And we could see that. All right, let's go back into memory mode, see what else we can play around with. If I scroll all the way down, it looks like at memory channel or function 121 for call sign, we can change that if we want, and we don't want to do that. So let me just go ahead and get out of there. We'll press and hold. Go back. I can reset all my memory channels. Memory channel reset, okay. And so that would reset all my memories, and they're gone. Look at that, it did a reboot. So if we go into, we're in memory mode now, and I can't switch to my repeater that we programmed in. Let's go back into memory. I can reset the APRS, but I haven't put any APRs in, so I can't reset that. I can reset just the configuration settings, and I can come down here to 127, and I can do factory reset. And let's go ahead and do that. Now when it comes up, I imagine it's going to ask me for my call sign again. Yeah, there we go. So anyhow, I just wanted to show the radio. I wanted to play around with some of the functions, kick the tires a little bit, and show this. We're going to do a series of videos taking a deeper dive into more functions and how to use this particular radio, so stay tuned for that. I want to say thanks everybody for watching. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, or recommendations, go ahead and post them below, and we'll do our best to respond. Thanks again.